It was a cold Sunday morning in Chicago. The streets were wet from an early drizzle, and the wind carried a bite that made people wrap their scarves tighter. In the middle of the city's buzzing downtown, a small diner sat at the corner of a quiet block. It was one of those places with checkered floors, foggy windows, and the smell of bacon and burnt coffee permanently soaked into the walls. A frail, elderly man walked in, wearing an old beige coat, a faded wool hat, and scuffed leather shoes. He moved slowly, with quiet dignity, yet no one looked up. He gently pulled the door closed behind him and approached the counter, waiting for someone to greet him. The waitress behind the counter glanced at him, then at her co-worker. "Another homeless guy," she mumbled under her breath. Her colleague chuckled. "Probably just wants to warm up. Don't let him linger too long." He took a seat at the far end of the counter. The waitress sighed audibly and approached him, fake smile plastered on. "Look, we're kinda full this morning. Maybe you'd be better off somewhere else?" The man's voice was soft, but clear. "I'd just like a cup of tea, if that's all right." "I can pay." She rolled her eyes. "We don't serve charity here. If you can't order a meal, I'll have to ask you to leave." A few people turned to look. A couple with a toddler whispered. The man sitting at the booth nearest him muttered, "What's he even doing here? Looks like he wandered off from a shelter." The elderly man didn't react. He just offered a gentle smile. "I understand. Thank you anyway," he said, beginning to rise from his seat. Just then, the diner door opened with a gust of wind, and a sharply dressed man in his 40s walked in, flanked by two others. He paused as he saw the man getting up. "Holy is that?" He walked closer, his eyes wide. "Excuse me, sir, are you Pope Francis?" The diner fell silent. The waitress froze. All heads turned. The elderly man gave a modest nod. "Yes, but please, I do not wish to disturb." The sharply dressed man turned to the staff, his voice rising. "You turned him away? Are you out of your minds? This is Pope Francis, the spiritual leader of millions." One of the kitchen staff peeked out. "Wait, is this real?" The waitress turned pale. I didn't know." The Pope simply raised a hand. "Please, I am not here as a leader. I came as a man, hungry, cold, like many others you may see and ignore each day." The silence in the diner was suffocating now. The couple with the toddler looked away, ashamed. The man in the booth rubbed his temples. The waitress stammered, I'm so sorry. Please, stay. Have anything you want. It's on the house." But Pope Francis shook his head gently. "Do not treat me better now that you know my name. Kindness should not depend on status. True compassion is given freely, without knowing what it might bring you." He turned to leave, but not before adding, "There are many who walk into places like this every day, invisible, wanted. If you can be kind to them, then you have truly understood the message I came to live. As he stepped outside into the biting wind, a hush lingered in the diner. No one moved for several moments. The sharply dressed man turned to the staff. "You just had one of the holiest men alive here, and all he asked for was a cup of tea."